witch is so unique.
The gift of witchcraft.
I was able to see, hear, and communicate with spirits.
A very personal relationship between a person and spirit. Carnal lust and fun things like that.
Working with different energies and spirits and communicating.
Creating magic.
Powerful ritual and powerful spell. She's actually sending me in the cult.
The role of the witch is to make change.
Blessed be, y'all. Blessed be. People ask me like, okay, I'm a witch and I don't know what to do.
20 years ago, 3 young friends realized they were witches.
They scattered to different parts of the world following magic and spirit.
Now, they're back in their hometown to share what they've learned.
Welcome to That Witch Life Podcast, your home for living as a witch in today's world.
Welcome everyone to our Halloween episode. I can't
And you have the audacity to call me the worst?
I can't start the Halloween episode without it. At least I'm not playing the Halloween song this year because y'all have not forgiven me for that.
Could be way worse.
Corey, I may actually send it to you to have you loop it in just to be a dick.
It gets worse.
It gets so much worse. Hi, I'm Courtney. I'm your host today, and I am with
Hillary.
We'll get you.
Nani.
Hillary Kanani and our new friend, and hopefully not our last time speaking.
He's never going to talk to us
He's
again.
never going to talk to us again.
Jonathan Perez of Latinos Against Spooky Shit has just realized what he's gotten himself into, and he
realizes he's made a critical
error.
Mistake.
I should have known the second that 3 witchy white women, one of whom is having a mimosa at 10 a.m. I should have known that this was going to be downhill.
You should have known how bad this was. I feel like you walked into this and should have been prepared.
I should have, and I'm not. And I'm going to start drinking soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, go right ahead. If you need to tap into whatever. I mean,
if you need exactly. If you need to drink, we are not going to be offended about it.
Love that.
The spirits still have me on an alcohol no-go, and so I'm sitting here going, I don't know why they did this to me, but it must have been something horrible that I'm making up for one of my ancestors' karmic backlash that I have to deal with Kanani while I'm sober. It's just punishment upon punishment.
You know it's bad when it's from an ancestor.
Fucking high school.
Oh, you know it.
That's what it's punishment for. All the times I had to hold your hair back.
That was once. That was once. And then
she's never going to let you fucking forget it either.
There were other occasions.
Yeah.
Well, the other occasion was the time you should have gone to the hospital when we were in the Sherry's parking lot. Now that was a time. So anyway,
there's so much lore here.
There is a lot. Get ready.
I think Jonathan is just going to record this and then pop his head in on his TikTok video and just shake his head like, no.
This is going to be one of those. I should have known better.
Anyway,
should have known.
I'm just thrilled by this episode. One of my very favorite content creators of all time, Jonathan Perez of Latinos Against Spooky Shit, is with us here today to talk about spooky shit. And so if you have not heard of Jonathan, where the fuck have you been? Go follow him immediately on Instagram or TikTok. He's also got a Twitter. And Jonathan was born in Ensenada, Mexico, and raised in Bellevue, Washington. He's gone from owning restaurants to working in corporate, and now he's a community builder and content creator. He taps into his roots to give sage advice on how to avoid los espookies, words of wisdom that everyone from Latin Hispanic backgrounds can identify with. When he isn't sharing his pearls of wisdom, you can find him streaming video games or rolling dice in a TTRPG setting with friends. Jonathan, welcome.
Hi. What a hell of an introduction. What a way to start this off.
So interesting. Unlike the rest of us. You're going to have to carry this whole thing.
You know what? What? An immigrant carrying the weight of white guilt on their shoulders?
Having to do all the work? What?
Oh my God.
Of 3 whacked out white women. He's like, wow.
You mean the shit this country was founded on? Yeah, let's go.
Oh, God. I knew I was going to love you.
I know, right?
Oh, God. All right. Well, So Jonathan, your content, from what I've seen, is typically you take videos that other content creators have done about paranormal stuff, and you pop your head in and you give them a look like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you jump in at the end. Then you jump in at the end and you're like, okay, here's what we're going to do to get you out of whatever bind you have put yourself in. Tell us a little bit about your background with spooky shit. Is this something that you've always been into, or has it been since the TikTok craze started a couple years ago?
It's honestly just TikTok.
Really?
And it was by pure accident too. I never knew what I wanted to do, but I've always known that in some way, shape, or form I wanted to entertain, but I never knew in what capacity, right? I've always known that I was funny. I'd like to talk. I love the sound of my own voice, but I didn't know how to use that. And so, yeah, TikTok just kind of was a thing a couple of years ago. I was in a bad place mentally, and it was a good outlet for me. And I started posting videos, but it didn't start with spooky stuff at all. I accidentally stumbled on spooky things and that just became who I am. So I'm like, okay, gotta embrace it. I love it though. Don't get me wrong. It was one of those things where it's like, I know that I'm good at it, but I didn't know that that's what I was going to end up doing. I always wanted to be like just a streamer and just do like video games and, D&D and TTRPG kind of stuff. But I couldn't help it. The way that it all started was I did a video about my voice in English, because this is my English voice. Hi, hello. But in español es un poquito más alto. It's a little bit higher. And I never realized that. So that was my first video that I did, was realizing that. Went viral, like 10,000 followers overnight. That was my first 10,000 followers. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'm a voice guy. I'm going to start doing voice stuff. Didn't fucking do anything with that. That was great. And then I did a next video of me flipping an egg. And that went viral. And I was like, shit, did I just make myself the egg guy? Am I an egg guy now? Fuck.
Oh my God, an egg guy. You're like,
the egg guy.
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, you don't want to be the egg guy.
Up.
Nobody wants to be the fucking egg guy. So I tried another egg video. Didn't do that well. I'm like, okay, thank fucking God, I'm not the egg guy. and then I saw a creator, phenomenal creator. He's super cool. But he posted a video, and he lives out in the woods, like off the grid. And he posted a video, and he's like, it was late night and I heard a strange noise outside. So I decided to investigate.
Oh.
And immediately when I saw that, I was like, that is the dumbest fucking white thing I have ever seen.
that is the whitest thing of all time. Because that is accurate. Like it's like, oh my God, what is that? I should probably go look. Not like I should lock the door and make sure that I'm safe.
Draw the shades. Don't look.
White
outside.
women in particular.
I mean, I'm not pointing fingers, but yes, absolutely. But what was funny about that, and a little bit more lore, actually, it's funny because the day before I saw that video, late at night in my family's house, somebody knocked on the door. And we don't expect company because like we have no family out where we lived at that time. But it's so funny because the house went from being lively. I could hear my grandma in the kitchen. I could hear grandpa listening to TV in his room. I could hear my mom talking to my aunt on the phone. But the second that knock happened, everything went silent in the house. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. That's pretty accurate. Nobody's going to try to figure out that we're here if there's nobody here. So everybody just got really quiet. And then my mom poked in. She's like, who is it? And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? Like, I'm in my room. Why are you asking me who it is? Like,
you're the gamer. You should know this.
Yeah,
stuff.
right? She's like, I don't know. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, me either. So it's funny how we never found out who it was. It could have been a solicitor. It could have been a neighbor. It could have been a cry for help. We don't know, but it's not my problem. They can figure it out. But yeah, no, then that video happened. I recorded. And the first thing that came out of my mind was Latinos against spooky shit. I don't know why. I don't know how. My ancestors put it in me somehow, and I spoke it out into the world, and here we are.
You have to spread the word.
The gospel of Latinos against spooky
You have to spread the word because white people are letting all the spookies out because they're
just leave shit alone.
True. I apologize. It's true.
Yeah, it's all fucking my crystals and oh my God, I'm like, fuck off.
Oh
Leave it.
yeah, this is one of my favorite stories, and I'm seeing one of our Patreon members who's from New York City, and she's going to start laughing because she's going to totally know what I'm talking about. And up at the top of Manhattan, there is still some natural forest left. Like never cut down by the Dutch, never, it's a old growth forest.
Uncolonized.
Uncolonized.
Love that.
And the spirits up there don't like people. They don't like people. And so when I've gone up there and I'm doing my meditations and stuff, I just kind of just like keep my head down like, y'all, I'm not here to cause problems. I'm just here to walk. I'm going to pick up some trash. I'm not going to cause any problems. And they're like, okay, we won't chase you away. But then this really sweet little lady from Florida, witchy lady, came up and she's like, I want to commune with the spirits in this woods. And so she went out there and opened herself and was like, show yourselves to me. And something roared up at her.
No, why would you say that?
And then she came running back to my apartment.
Why
She's
would
like,
you do that?
why was I rejected?
I'm not even that stupid.
By the forest. And I said, because these spirits are so tired of people's shit. You just need to be really, really chill when you go up there. She's
I mean, honestly, why would you? I mean, I make some questionable choices when it comes to spooky things. Like, let's be real, but like that is dumb. I'm not going to go into a place where the energy is like crazy and be like, show me yourself. I'd be like, no, you don't. Nope.
Well, you're not going to heal 400 years of genocide and environmental destruction in one meditation session.
You don't know
Susan. It's not
You
going to
don't
happen.
know that.
I'm just saying, this is what white men are for. Like, this is why you have someone. I'm not going to look for the spooky thing. Like, that's 90% of why you're here in case something scary happens. Go.
Yeah.
There's plenty of white men.
I'm the
that can go,
opposite. My ego's too big. I'm like, no, I don't need help.
I'm not looking.
I don't need protection.
That's
I'm going to
your
go
purpose.
put myself at risk myself.
No.
So, Jonathan,
Stubbornness.
you came from the gamer world, but yet you've risen to fame in the kind of the paranormal realm. What about that journey has really surprised you? I know this wasn't expected. You were just trying to get away from being the egg guy, which I completely understand. But what about this journey has, or what has it taught you about like people's interests, I guess?
One of the big things that it taught me or really pulled the veil back on, is I didn't understand my place in the space of bridging paranormal things and culture. At first, it was just a way, poke fun of my heritage. And at the same time, it was kind of a love letter to my family because, like so many of these things, the Vicks, truly to this day, my grandmother will lather me in Vicks if she hears me sniffle. She'll shove tea down my throat at the second I mention that I'm feeling under the weather. And so all these things are kind of callbacks to my family and really just the way that they brought me up. And I didn't realize how much that would resonate with the community. And not just with people who grew up in that, but also people who were kind of a little disconnected from their roots. A lot of folks that are, as we call them, no sabo kids, who, might have grown up first generation Mexican American or Latin American and didn't get a chance to have a lot of that. But they feel seen. They're like, oh shit, that's why my grandma did that. I was never explained to me, and having those kind of moments of aha. It's been very neat getting to talk to the community and seeing them rally behind so many of these things, and especially not just because obviously I'm Mexican, but seeing it from all South America and Latin American countries and people being like, oh shit, Puerto Ricans, we do that. Dominicans, we do that. Like having that bridge and watching people be like, oh shit, we're not that different. It has been kind of nice and unexpected, not the result I expected from this.
I love how you always talk about the magic and the power of abuelos. That's my favorite.
Dude, because
abuelos, anything.
Abuelas will fuck you up, but they are the most loving people in the world as well. Like they will attack you with love, both literally and metaphorically, but nothing scarier than an abuela, dude. Like I will fight damn near anything before I will ever go toe to toe with somebody's grandma.
That's fair.
It's interesting because we were talking about, some witches have a polytheistic view of the divine, and then just, say, oh, well, treat the gods like your grandmother's best friend. She's going to be very loving, but you don't want to go in and break her precious moments things. She's not going to judge you, but but if you
such a fucking throwback. Oh my God.
I literally just was like, oh my God, those figurines.
Those were some creepy. Oh, that's a good question.
Speaking of spooky shit.
You walked into someone's house and you see a bunch of precious moments dolls looking at you.
Yeah.
How much Vicks do you use?
All of it. Yeah. That's, oh my God, I forgot my mom had so many of those.
What were those? They were just so creepy.
They just existed out of fucking nowhere. That's the thing. Like they had there was no like call to action for them. It's not like you could see it online or I guess in that time on TV where it's like, get your precious. They just were. It's one of those things that nobody understands why they came to be. I'm sure if we Googled it, somebody's going to have an explanation, but I don't remember ever seeing them like like publicized or advertised or anything. You just had them. I think we were just born with them.
They were all over Hallmark.
Oh, of course they were.
The childhood Bible
Hallmark shops. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Precious Moments Bible.
I remember the Bible because it was like white and the lettering was like silver and glitter.
Oh my God. Yes. I totally remember that actually.
You know, to me, they feel like the ancestor to the Beanie Baby, and that people were collecting them thinking like this is just something you have to have these because they might be worth money someday. And also they're Jesus. Like there's something about them that was very Jesus-y. I'm like looking them up right now to see what they were. Oh my God.
Yeah, because they were all like the manger.
And they had prayers and they were part of like Christian symbolism and stuff.
Oh, Jesus. There's probably something very twisted in their background, like they were first inspired by a baby that died or something like really messed up. I can't imagine that there's something.
It always starts with something fucked up.
It's true.
It is so true. So, you, my next question was, where did you learn your solutions for spooky problems? And you mentioned that a lot of it comes from your grandmother, your abuelas. Are there moments, or what were were there specific things that you were taught about how to deal with like spooky things? Or is this just more of the common, I guess, vernacular?
More common vernacular. And it's funny that you say that too, because like pulling back the curtain here a little bit and showing you guys my life. I grew up Pentecostal Christian. Doesn't mean that I'm practicing now. Doesn't mean that I am. But that's what I grew up with. Right. So because of that upbringing, my family, and also we never converted from Catholicism to Christianity. Like we always just were Pentecostal Christian, which is also something very rare for Mexican families. Usually like you start Catholic and then convert, or you just stay Catholic, right? That's kind of the two options. So we didn't grow up believing in brujeria or santeria. Like Dia de los Muertos, we didn't celebrate. So there was a lot of things that my family's like, oh, we don't believe in that because we're Christian. Like we just pray over things. And like, if something happens, it's not a ghost, it's a demon. That's all that it is. It's always going to be a demon. So just pray it away. So it wasn't until I got older and I started just kind of dabbling in my own history and my own culture and heritage. And I started learning about brujeria, santeria, and all those kind of things. And really just kind of embracing that more, whether it was for the bit or whether it was, hey, you know what? Like this is like Dia de los Muertos. I love that concept way more than Christianity. No offense.
For sure.
Christian, everybody's allowed to their own beliefs. But for me, the idea that I get to celebrate and spread or share space with my ancestors once a year is so much better than once I die, I might get to see them if they were good people. I don't know. I like the latter, but it is what it is. And so that's a lot
There's
of
a lot of comfort that can be brought by the thought of haunting people someday.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I keep telling my friends, like, I'm going to haunt you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, same. I'm like ready. I'm like, you better watch how you are in this life because how you behave now is directly going to correlate to how much I ruin your life.
I'm going to
I don't even want to be an angry ghost.
No,
I just
you want to fuck with people.
I just want to be inconvenient. Like that's the biggest thing, because that's my biggest pet peeve. Inconvenience in my life is my biggest pet peeve. So I want, like, my buddies who are super into sports, right before like a big play happens or like a goal, I'm just going to change the channel.
Yes.
I'm just going to change that shit to something else.
That's brilliant.
Have the check engine light come on the day before you go on the road trip.
Little things like that. I'm going to move their passport as hard as it might take me and as long as it might take me. Right before a big international trip, I'm going to move that somewhere else. I'm going to put in a pair of jeans they've never worn before.
I'm going to go with the ancient Greek approach, and I'm going to have the living like pay me to haunt the people who hate that.
Yes.
There you go.
So maybe
yes, I like that.
So what I want is I'm going to have like these really like heartbroken young women come. It's always going to be the straight girls are going to come and say, I need you to haunt my ex when he's with his new girl. And I'll be like, on it. So they're getting it on. I'm just going to appear in the mirror just going, ah. Yeah.
Love that.
That's me. Or I'm going to like do a little child's laughing voice when they're sitting there trying to have, watching a movie and stuff like that, and just creep the shit out of
It's
people.
like every time anyone goes to the bathroom, they hear child laughter in the bathroom. And that
3 a.m.
is like
3 a.m. Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's part of the reason why I don't wake up to go to the bathroom at night. I'm like, you know what? I gotta go pee. I can wait 9 hours. Fuck that.
Oh man, I wish I had that bladder control.
I'm fine. I can adjust.
I can flip the mattress.
I can flip the mattress.
I understand. I'm not checking on the spooky noise. I don't understand. It's like that commercial that they have. It's a insurance commercial of the white people who something scary is coming after them. They're like, let's go hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah. I've seen that one so many times. I'm like, I hate everything about this.
You're like, I hate. Yeah. You're like, it's accurate.
Yeah, we have the keys. Let's get in the car. Yeah.
The car is going to stop, right? It's not going to work.
Naturally.
So this episode is so like perfectly timed because like right now I am at the Oregon coast and I'm doing recordings in abandoned spaces. So like
Jonathan's like, of course you are.
In an abandoned war battery, which is like, I feel like really in line with stupid shit that white women do. And I've dragged 2 non-white people along with me for the ride. Sorry for them.
Jonathan's just nodding like, I'm not even going to speak to this.
Jonathan's like, I'm not even going to comment on this because you are exactly the person I'm talking about.
I'll take the rest of the hour of this podcast episode just ripping into them. So,
yes.
But that is along the lines of hiding behind the chainsaws and jumping in the car. But like, of the paranormal people that you follow, what is your favorite or maybe even the most common mistake that in your mind that people are making when it comes to spooky shit?
Honestly, it's the simplest mistake of acknowledging things. Like it's so many times even just the fact that you made a video and are saying, oh, this spooky thing is happening. It's like, stop, don't. You could just not do that and live the rest of your life. But so many people are like, there's this thing and like, I want video proof of it. So I'm going to go check. It's like, why? I don't care. You shouldn't care. So the principle of even just going to look for it, the investigation process, the first step into like fucking up, which is, hey, there's a thing there and I want to know. Whether it's like the most recent one that I did, people also, again, pulling back the veil a little bit, folks, I know that some of the shit that I post on is staged.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the fun of it. There's no way people are
like
that
content.
dumb.
You know what I mean?
Content. What you think? You think Mission Impossible is real? You think Tom Cruise is really fucking stealing national secrets and killing people? No. Okay. You
You're
think a
lucky
5'4" man really does that
You're ruining
shit?
all the things.
Don't break Kanani's heart like that.
Don't break the internet. Yeah.
Y'all, I had a friend in the 6th grade who really thought that Lori Loughlin and John Stamos were married and that they in Full House, and she thought that Aunt Becky and Uncle Jesse were actually real people and they were married and that those twins were their kids.
Oh my God.
She was not
to do with that.
She is not the brightest bulb in the pack.
I mean, to be fair, though, I thought that John Krasinski and oh my God,
Jenna Fisher
were married in real life just because of the chemistry they had on The Office. Yeah. I was like, oh, there's no way that they didn't fall in love with each other.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, yeah, exactly. Because the thing is like
acting, folks.
When it's portrayed, when acting is done well and it's portrayed well, it's convincing. Like. Yeah. You know, you have to, I mean, I know when I watch things, I have to remind myself sometimes. I mean, I know like categorically that it's not real, right? I'm an adult that has that knowledge, but you know, you get sucked into it. And for a moment, if it's done well, it seems real. If that chemistry is portrayed well, it seems real. So that's perfectly
But the difference is this woman, she was a kid. This kid actually thought that not that it was John Stamos and Lori Loughlin, but those people's actual names were Aunt Becky and Uncle Jesse.
Oh, see, at that point, that's the parents' fault. Honestly, I don't know what else to tell you.
That's the parents' fault. Yeah, that is.
Her mom was a piece of work. It was a thing. So, so if you're willing to share,
sure.
What is your own personal most like a spooky experience that you have personally experienced?
I've had a few. My earliest one that I can remember, though, I was like 8, maybe 9, and we were in Seattle proper, and we were in a truck I can't remember who was driving. They were related to us. You know how fucking Hispanic families are. They're related to us in some fucking way, but they're family. So there was them, my aunt in the passenger seat, and in the back it was myself. Cat butt. That's fucking funny.
Black cat butt of all those
Black
things.
cat butt. And then in the back it was me and this other person's daughter. We're around the same age. But anyways, bumper to bumper traffic. So we're just fucking rolling along. And I don't know for those that have lived in Seattle, but there's train tracks in a large portion of it, because of the depots and everything. But we're in the back, we're playing, we're not strapped in. We're kind of just playing on the floor. The seats were flipped up. But at one point, we're going over the train tracks, and we're on the train tracks themselves when the rails come down to signify that a train is coming.
Oh, God.
And we look down the railroad, and probably within 200 yards, there's a train coming. We're panicking. We're freaking out. We're crying. And then we're back 200 yards behind where the train track is. She and I are still crying. My aunt's like, what's going on? What's wrong? We're like, don't go on the train tracks. Don't go on the train tracks. Like, the train's coming. They're like, there's no train coming. The guardrails would come down. And we're like, no, if we go on the train tracks, we're going to get stuck on there. And they're like, no, we're not. We're like, please don't go on the train tracks. We're freaking out enough that they pull off. We pull over somewhere. I can't remember where. And sure enough, right before we would have gone to the train tracks, things come down. Train comes through, and apparently what had happened was there was a malfunction with the alert system, because usually it tells you when a train's coming a couple miles down the road.
Right.
Of time, but something went wrong, and this alerted way too late, and we managed to dodge it. So we had some weird premonition, a la Final Destination, of us getting stuck on there. And it was one of those things where like if it would just been me, I don't know if they would have listened. But the fact that it was both of us, because we, according to my aunt and to this other person, we were just having fun. We were playing, we were talking, and then we just started bawling out of nowhere in tandem and crying about a train. And so it was enough for them to be like, "This
what?
is weird."
Yeah, something's weird. Yeah.
So
listen
I'm
to
glad
the
they
kids.
listen, though. That's
listen
the thing,
to the
is, like,
kids.
I feel like a lot of people would have been like, "Shut up! Just like go play a video game or go."
Yeah, no, for sure,
Honestly.
absolutely. Yeah,
here's your iPad, Timothy.
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
So
yeah. Oh my God, that's. I mean, I'm always afraid of those kinds of things anyway. I'm always afraid of getting stuck on the train tracks, and so there's both that and the premonition. I'm just like, oh God.
I would like to thank you, because I've actually never been afraid of that before, and I'm pretty sure that's
and now you are.
So
you're welcome.
Yeah,
that's
You're welcome.
it's there now.
Good.
Let me tell you something about that, though, because a lot of people forget this. You can get out of your car.
Yeah. Okay. So you know what's really funny is I also have this thought, because
That seems like a
sometimes
lot
you
of
see people
work, though.
like if I'm stuck on the train tracks and I think there is a train anywhere in the vicinity, I'm going to be running out of my fucking vehicle quickly,
but the amount of
because
people
that is what a common sense person does.
But the amount of people are like, oh, I have to drive. Listen, you have insurance. You should have fucking insurance. You can fucking replace the car.
Now is not the time to try and figure out how you're going to get your car out of here. Now is the time to flee imminent death.
Yeah. So
I was just explaining to 3 middle school girls that I carpool when my daughter made a joke about me starting to run. And I said, honey, I don't even think I would run if a bear was chasing me. Getting out of the car is like, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? I'm going to have to walk somewhere? Like, once I'm out of the car,
Yeah,
you have to walk 20 feet to safety.
Kanani is the type of person that would stay in the car and get hit.
Like, then I'm stuck there.
Kanani,
Then I'm stuck there, and I'm going to get eaten by a bear. So if I'm going to die, I might as well get taken out by that train.
Where the fuck are you that there's a train track and just woods?
Oregon.
Well, all of the Pacific Northwest.
Exactly.
I was like, the entire Pacific Northwest. That's cool.
You know this, Jonathan. You know this.
That's fair. But I mean, if you've put yourself in a position to where you're stuck either on a train track or getting eaten by a bear, honestly, that's your fucking fault. If those are the two options you've got, I got nothing for you.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, why are you in the woods with the bears? Yeah, I mean, it's like, but it's funny though, because it's hilarious that you said that, because there's been so many times where I've watched, like, either in movies where I'm like, why aren't they getting out? But also accounts of real life people who like are in their car, and it's not a scenario where like they drove in front of the train and miscalculated how. It's not that, like, they're stuck on the tracks as the train is approaching. I'm like, no, you get out, and you run. Yeah, they're pushing their car. I'm like, fucking leave your car, man. Like,
And I get
What
it.
are you
It's your
doing?
livelihood. You're carrying cargo, whatever. But livelihood versus life.
Versus being crushed under a train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Courtney, you're muted.
I love it. Courtney's
Thank you.
talking while muted.
I'm finally, it's me instead of
If it's
Kanani.
you
Who forgets to take
finally,
herself.
it's 99% of the time it's Kanani.
No, my fear with that is like, because I have an infant, so would I be able to get her out in time? That's where my fear is. But
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, just getting out and running myself is fine. But going around, I'm just like, oh, I just know the car seat would get stuck. You know,
Yeah, but
or
you
something
wouldn't
like
the
get
car
out of
seat.
but you wouldn't get out of the
My
vehicle.
bear
and try
story
and
is better
push
than your
it.
car seat story, Courtney. I'm just saying.
I'm just like, what's the fastest way to get her out? Take the whole car seat, or instead of unbuckle.
Unbuckling for
much
sure.
faster.
Because the car seat, you've got the anchors, you've got the back anchor.
No, mine is just one clip, lift and out.
Oh, is that all? Oh,
That's-
because you okay, infant.
She
you're
has
right.
an
I have a-
insufficient
I
car
have a
seat,
toddler.
Jonathan. We're not going to talk about it.
No, no, no.
Shut up. You did not. So yeah, it's just like clip, lift, and lift. Like,
No,
clip
you're
and
right.
she's out.
Because
Yeah.
you've got the actual
Yeah, I don't.
carrier.
I
You
wouldn't
can
be
pull the
trying.
carrier out,
Just pull
yeah.
it, boom, and she's
See,
out.
I forget because with my toddler, it's a whole seat.
Yeah.
And so it's got to have the anchors on the sides, on the back, and then it's.
Oh
got
yeah,
the
you
belts on
just
it.
leave the seat.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah,
I
grab
just
the child.
unclip once, he's out. So
Yeah,
but you're
so that
right,
would be
yeah.
my fear is like, oh, it's stuck and now I got to unbuckle her and get her out. So that's where
Feel
my
that.
anxiety comes from. But anyway, that just means from now on, I'm going to stop and pause and look both ways 18 times before crossing the train tracks of the
honestly,
car.
I do. To
Why
this
not?
day, I still do because I'm like, it's not going to hurt me to look. You know, worst
No.
case scenario, I'm inconvenienced for 10 seconds.
Yeah. Or worst case scenario, someone honks at you. It's like, who cares? We didn't
No.
get hit by a train. So
Does anybody here follow Lauren the Mortician on TikTok?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, we have a Patreon member that does. Okay, so she's the one, she ruins everybody's day because she's a mortician and she's a mom. And so she looks at all these child hacks and she breaks down for you as to why that is a terrible idea. And so, and so it's really, it's a good account to watch, but then you're just like, you never, and she says the two things she always does. She goes, safety. She goes, I never have my phone out. I always put my phone away. She goes, I never look at my phone while I'm driving. And number two, she said, I never go through an intersection without pausing first, even if it's a green light, because, you know, I always slow down and pause and look.
I don't
both
trust
ways
people.
before. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you
me
can't.
either.
People are dumb.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
other people. You don't trust that other people are going to stop just because they're supposed to.
And at like a four-way stop or anything with a stop sign, if I see somebody else, I will let them go first. Even if I have the right of way, I will flag them because people are dumb. They're going to think they have the right of way when I have the right of way and they're going to hit me. So I'd rather I can take the 5 seconds to let them go through.
Yep.
It's just like, it's fine. Go.
No.
So, one more question before we take our sponsor break. Actually, it's 2-part. What is one spooky place you actually would like to go to? And one
Mar-a-Lago.
spooky Mar-a-Lago.
Sorry. My
Why
bad.
do I feel like the
That
food
would be
there
like Hunger
suck?
Games. Would you make it out
Oh,
alive?
my God.
I don't know.
Well, they would just think I'm one of the workers.
That's true.
That's actually very true.
Yeah.
Accurate. Yeah.
You could go in and sneakily inconvenience everything. Like take the batteries out of the remotes.
Oh, it'd be great.
Everyone, yeah, exactly.
This is great.
Hide one sock
You gotta go to the back.
of every
Awesome.
pair.
We got the best Mar-a-Lago.
Short sheet the beds.
Yeah.
Or make it just a little too tight so it's tough to get in there.
I'm just gonna add side to everything.
Oh my God.
I just can imagine the food at Mar-a-Lago is just really bland. I just can't
Yeah.
It's
imagine
gotta
that
be.
it's good. I
Disgusting.
can't.
Must be.
I can't imagine that's good. Oh, good. We're going to get another 1-star review from someone who had no business listening to us in the first place. This happens every
Right.
time we shit on Trump. Somebody's like, you two, you guys are so awful and you judge people. We're like, just one person.
You didn't pay
yeah, you're like,
attention. You
actually,
should have
we
listened to
do.
this show.
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong.
happily
I'll shit
judge.
on
We
anybody.
do. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, I
at this
will
point in time,
happily
I don't have
judge.
it. Yeah, I don't have any political affiliation. For those that don't know, I am a resident of the United States, which means that I can't vote, which means that I don't have any sway in either fucking election. So I don't care. I am at the behest of
You're an equal
everybody else.
opportunity shitter.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. It just so happens that Donald Trump's the easiest one to make fun of.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
We love
Easy
a one-star
target.
review, though.
Yeah. Well, with Stormy Daniels is actually a friend of ours. So it's like,
Oh, lovely.
yeah. And so people are like, why are you such a, like, you do realize who we're friends with, right?
Right.
She's actually our buddy. We message with her and stuff. So yes.
Same.
Yeah, when we interviewed her once, and we were like, you know, Is there anything that has like really scared you in, you know, in like paranormal stuff, or like have you experienced anything that's really terrifying? And she's like, well, the bar is pretty high because I've seen Trump naked. I was like,
Oh my God.
I was like,
It's
oh my
hard
God,
to scare anyone more than that. I mean, I
You
can't
can't.
imagine. I think
That's the
you're just
scariest.
ruined after that.
Just like a soggy clump of Cheetos.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
I was at the Women's March in DC when it first happened, and I just regret, because I had an idea for what would have been an amazing photo, and I didn't think of it in time, is just to get a bunch of women, femme, non-binary people circling the White House, just slowly eating Cheetos.
Something too good.
I hated that. I like, oh, and us licking our fingers at the end, you know, all the Cheeto dust off.
Hindsight.
Hindsight. So many good shots. All right. So what is one spooky place you would never go? There's no amount of money you could be paid to go to a certain spooky place.
Probably the Amityville Horror House.
Okay.
That's probably the one place, just because of the notoriety behind it and like the activity that happens there. That's for sure one of the places where I'm like, you know what, I can live the entire rest of my life without ever going there.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the one that was that the Annabelle house?
That is I believe it's also the Annabelle house. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But a bunch of shit happened there. So I think Annabelle was one of them, plus a bunch of other spooky shit. So yeah, this is like
it's
the
like
hotspot of.
Yeah, it's like a paranormal hotspot. Yeah.
What for the folks that aren't as familiar with Amity House, what are some of the things that it's famous for?
I mean, poltergeist, possession. You're talking the Annabelle doll. Heavy. Not just ghost presence, but like demonic activity.
Yeah. Inspired satanic panic, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. As well as Dungeons and Dragons, so.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Apparently a house
might be
now.
worshiping the devil.
It's apparently like a legit house now that people, I think, live in. And
it's for sale. I'm pretty sure it's for sale. It's been for sale for a while.
Oh, yeah, because people are not going to buy it.
I'd
buy it.
This is what assholes do. Nicolas Cage bought
I am an asshole. I would buy it. I would do it.
He bought the most haunted house. I mean, Megan's like, I would buy it. But Nicolas Cage bought the most haunted house in New Orleans, and like since then, his life has just been fucked. I mean, it was probably fucked before that, but it's gotten like progressively more fucked since he bought that house.
Megan and I will live there together.
No, okay, then Hillary and I and Jonathan we're never going to come visit you. We're just going to be like,
have a nice life.
We'll have barbecues in the backyard. You can be in the backyard. You don't have to go in the house.
I'm not going on that property. Like, I'm not going anywhere near there.
No, we're not going to eat
it. Burning it down.
That's my stupid white person thing. I have no sense. I would go to those crazy spooky places and then be confused why I died.
And then you're haunting it and you're like, who are all these other spirits?
And then I would just be one of the group. Then they'd embrace me. I'd be one of the new things that haunts and kills people. That's my fate.
You would just be the crankiest ghost. Like, why are you making noise in the morning?
Piss everybody else off. They'd be like, why? Why did we kill her? We should have just let her go.
We have this ghost that grinds coffee beans at like 4 a.m. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the ghost of Kanani. She's just being prepared.
Do ghosts? Sorry, my intrusive thoughts got to me for a second. Never mind. Let's move.
No. We want to hear it.
No, do it. No,
what was it? Do it.
Do ghosts still see race?
Probably. It's probably.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Especially depending on what era they're from. I would probably.
So I can see holding a grudge, right? But like if you're all like, but that's also the other thing. We don't know what spectral forms you take. Are you just a little goop of ectoplasm floating around? Are you a whole embodiment of a person with features? Like, you know what I mean? Because like the soul doesn't have melanin.
Yeah.
So what do we look like? What do we embody when we pass on?
Do we still look like our meat puppet? Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well,
This little flesh mech suit that we operate.
Well, so one of the things a friend of mine who some of the stuff she says is just completely out there, but this I actually agree with, is that when we pass on, there is our soul self that moves on, but then there's like the personality, the existence that we created while we were here. And if that part of that existence was struggling, like to let something go, or to, or it was particularly angry, or like that piece might stay, whereas the soul of that person might move on.
Oh, you guys are fucked. I'm a petty motherfucker. I hold on to grudges.
You're like,
over little shit. Like I have names of people in 3rd grade that I still don't like over little things.
Oh yeah,
I respect that.
That's what I want to teach my daughters, like, be nice to people because they will remember. You know what I mean?
It's little things. It's little things like taking my favorite color Sharpie. I don't know if you guys remember those color markers that used to smell like fruits.
Yeah, those were. I can still smell them. I can still
Grape
smell
and
them.
cherry were my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
me
Jackson,
too.
fuck you, Jackson, used to always take them and never share them.
Jackson.
You know what? What an
Okay.
asshole. Jackson is hopefully
you know
living
who the
a
fuck
horrible
you are,
life.
okay?
Jackson's out there listening.
I hope Jackson is listening to this right now.
Piece of shit.
You better hope you die first.
You better send some.
You
fucking
better hope I don't
markers
fucking
right
die
now,
anywhere near your
Jackson.
vicinity, dude, because I'm going to make the rest of your life hell.
The rest of his
You
life,
just-
he's gonna smell cherry.
I was just gonna say that.
You're
I was
why
like,
does everything smell like cherries all the time?
It's gonna be
I
me.
was just gonna say that for the rest of his life, he's like, what is that smell? Like everywhere he goes, where is that coming from? It's you.
It's me fucking his day up.
Love that.
All right, so we're
I
gonna
saw it was a girl on Instagram or TikTok or something, and it was a comedian, and she was talking about how she loves holding grudges so much that if she could make it a business, she would. Where people
seen
could
that
come
one.
to her. Yes, it was. I was like, this is me. This is me. I love this. Where she's like, you can pay me. Tell me what did this bitch do?
Yeah,
Why do we hate her?
I'll hold
Just
your
tell
grudge
me.
for you. Yeah.
I'll hold it for you. Just give me some money. Tell me what she did. Boom. I got you. I'll hold this for the rest of your life. Loved it. I'm like,
here's
yes, I
the
respect
thing
this.
is Kanani, that's Kanani's like outward facing persona, is that then she's gotten me to help hold grudges for her, but then she's let it go, and I'm still holding it.
Then you're the one stuck with it.
And then
at the
she's
end.
and then she tries to talk me. She tries to talk me through. She goes, "Well, we really." And I said, "No, I've held on to this for a long ass time. You don't get to tell me when I get to let it go. I'm holding on to this." She goes, "But I don't feel it." I'm like, I can come up with a list of reasons why you should still hold that grudge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She has people that I have let it go. I
haven't
let it go, and I have you're dead to me. That's where we have it. And people that I have, they're no longer dead to me, and they're dead to her. Oh, she has no.
I'm afraid at this point in time that if I let go of all my grudges, I'll have nothing left to live for, and I will literally just drop dead.
And then you'll have nothing reason to haunt anyone.
And then I'll like literally spite and pettiness and grudges are the only thing that fuel me and wake me up in the morning. And the moment that I like bury all of that, I'm just gonna drop and die. So this is all I got
Keep
going.
that
for me,
list.
honestly.
You need that fuel to keep
that
you
list.
going.
I do.
Keep that list. I respect that. I've already said every good thing I've ever done, I literally did because someone told me I couldn't. And if people were just nothing but supportive and loving and kind to me, I think I would have never accomplished anything.
Facts.
Because everything good I've done is because someone said I couldn't do it.
This is a classic Kanani moment. Courtney's trying to make sure that we get a break for our sponsors, and Kanani won't stop talking every single time she tries to announce it.
It's try it. Well, so I'm going to say, Kanani, I bet you could never clean my house, or weed my yard. So there, I've said it.
That's a lot of work, though.
I bet you won't give me your life savings.
Yeah, but Triple Dog dare you.
I mean, it might get you a bus pass. That
Shit,
might
I'd take
be nice.
a fucking cheeseburger at this point.
Welcome to the 21st century. All right, we are going to take a quick sponsor break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to do some sharing of the paranormal story so Jonathan can tell us what fucking morons we were to go anywhere near it. Okay.
Okay, Kachina Aurora fans, get ready because our friend Dawn Hunt has now launched a new, drumroll, tomato sauce. Magical marinara, roasted garlic, pomodoro. Holy shit.
We got to try it. I made this incredible pasta dish for my husband. I throw some beef sausage in there, just regular old stuff from the grocery store, topped it with this sauce, threw it on some gluten-free pasta because I have the celiac. My husband did not stop talking about this. I'm serious. The rest of the night was, oh my God, the sauce is so good. Oh my God, I am under Dawn's spell. Oh my God, I can't stop. I mean, the flavors sit with you And like you just feel comforted and you feel loved and you really feel the magic that she puts in there and the high quality ingredients. I am actually serving that pasta dish with that sauce to my Italian mother-in-law when she's here next week. Okay, that is saying something, and I'm going to do it.
I mean, it's so true. I finally got my hands on a jar and it was the best. Like, I was like, wow, I don't even need to touch anything. This is perfection in a jar. I mean, honestly, I love everything Dawn does, but I also really lean into the Cucina Aurora infused olive oils, which are not only incredible to put on food, but they are also each crafted with magical intention. So you've got a really good, ready to go, delicious food, as well as your spell work.
If you haven't tried her coffee yet, you need to get on it because she has different ones for each of the seasons. Not only that, but she also has different brews for the dark moon, half moon, and full moon. These are whole bean coffees with different spectrums of darkness and strength. They're almost as dark as my soul. They are so, so good.
To bring your own practice into the kitchen, go to cucinaaurora.com ASAP and use code WitchLife to get 10% off. That's code WitchLife for 10% off.
Do it, witches, and thank you to Cucina Aurora for being an episode sponsor.
We have gotten so hooked on wearing our Blessed Be jewelry. Their pieces are the kinds that become your wear everyday signature items. They are, because they're so delicate and discreet, they are broom closet friendly and they give your witchy jewelry, you know, more of an upgrade, a special touch. It is very tasteful witchy jewelry that is perfect for your everyday wear. You can wear it in the conference room. No one's going to know, but you're going to know because you are magical. And it's made by witches, and Blessed Be Magic has got something for every witch, regardless of their status of being in or out of the closet.
I am freaking out and love their new anklet collections and sets that they have right now. They have a triple goddess anklet, a pentacle anklet, and they have a Hecate's wheel bracelet and anklet set, which, yes, I have in fact purchased. I absolutely love anklets in the summertime. There's just something about having pretty jewelry on your ankles when you're wearing your summer dresses and in short season. It's just spectacular.
Yes, that new collection is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, frankly, everything Blessed Be Magic does is gorgeous. I have a number of their pieces and I wear them regularly and always get complimented. They have over 700 plus 5-star reviews, like 700. That's insane. And they ship worldwide.
Yes, it is perfect. It's beautiful and magical. I wear my Hecate ring everywhere. You can step into your power with Blessed Be Magic's minimalist jewelry for powerful witchy women.
Head over to blessedbemagic.com, that's magic with a K, and use WitchLife15, that's WitchLife15, and save 15% on all full-price talisman jewelry. Trust me, with as much shopping as you're about to do on this site, you're going to want that 15% off.
Thank you to Blessed Be Magic for being an episode sponsor. Literally everyone knows this podcast runs on blood, sweat, tears, and jasmine pearl tea. But now get ready, witches. Our beautiful friends at the Jasmine Pearl Tea Company have some new blends for this summer.
Oh my God. Seriously, everyone knows how obsessed I am with tea, and I am extra obsessed with Jasmine Pearl. Fortune's Fool, which is a pu'er tea for those looking for a more sophisticated tea, is insane. I am in love with it. Plus, it has pigs on the wrapper, which makes it extra amazing.
I need all of that tea.
They're insane. And everyone knows that coffee is my jam. One of the ways that you can get me to drink tea is when you have some sort of a mint tea. And the Northwest Mint is absolutely fantastic. It's something that you can make in a large brew and you can put in your fridge so that you can drink it cold during hot months. And it is absolutely marvelous.
Yeah, and also the blackberry fig, which can be enjoyed either hot or iced. I mean, it's the end of the summer. Iced tea is still the thing, but the nights are getting cooler. And so this is a really great one to have around during the transition from summer to autumn. Also, you've got the equinox. It's a great herbal for this coming month and the change in the seasons. And it contains herbs that can be sometimes beneficial for those of us with uteruses.
You really, really need to go check out these teas at thejasminepearl.com. Save 10% with coupon code WITCH2023. That's WITCH2023. And you get free shipping on orders over $35. So get those orders in.
Thank you so much to the Jasmine Pearl Tea Company for being an episode sponsor.
We're back. So as many of you, our listeners may know, this is actually our monthly live recording with our Patreon community. So we have members of our Patreon community who are here to chat with us as well as Jonathan. And everybody was super excited about this because we have a lot of Jonathan fans in our community. But I'm going to start with telling I've got two short paranormal stories. That one of them involves Hillary that I've told on the podcast before. And one of them I don't think I've actually told on the podcast before. So when Hillary and I were teenagers, of course, we got bored and we played with the Ouija board.
Shake.
And yeah, everything. Yep. So there it goes.
We're like 17, 18, and we're like, you know what? I think this is a good plan. I think we should just have no idea what we're doing and try and tap into ghosts.
So it said some weird, scary shit, and we really obviously scared ourselves. But of course, there's always that question in your mind, like, what if we were just imagining this? What if one of our friends was moving it? Da, da, da. Anyway, we put the Ouija board away, back in the box, put the board back on my closet shelf in my bedroom, and we sit down and we watch a movie. We're watching a funny movie. I don't know, probably something Adam Sandler. And at that point, the dog comes into the room. Now, the dog had not been in the room when we did the Ouija board. And again, the Ouija board has been put away. We're not focused on it. We're not looking at it. So the dog is not
about it. We've
not
moved
thinking
on.
about it. So the dog is not responding to us. We're watching a movie. The dog is sitting on the bed. All of a sudden, she looks up right at the Ouija board and she growls. And then she whimpers and then she gets up and she runs out of the bedroom.
Smart dog.
Yeah. So Jonathan, what should we addressed it in our own way, probably didn't do a very good job, but what should we have done to address the spookies?
You shouldn't have addressed the spookies. That's what fucked you up in the first place. That's why you got fucked up. You know? But honestly, and I know because I recently did a video on a Ouija board actually, and people are like, that's just made by Hasbro. Like, that's not real. It was invented. I was like, yeah, but it's intention. And the fact that you intended to try to talk to something is what makes it happen, right?
Right.
A pencil is only a pencil
until
I try to stab you with it. Then it's a weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So that is the best example I've ever come up with, and I'm really fucking proud of that, by the way.
Use it again.
That's a good one. I like it. I'll use it someday.
But I mean, you should have burned it. Okay. You should have done a limpia, you know, you should have found the nearest brujeria and just gotten a full cleanse, top to bottom down. And you probably should have.
Yeah, that's not what we did, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I'm sure not. You probably saged the house.
Actually, I took my rosary. I'd recently just been confirmed because I was grew up Catholic. I took my rosary that had been blessed by the priest and I threw it on the board and I went into every room of the house and I said the Nicene Creed.
First of all, impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure that helped at that point in time. But I mean, hey, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, but it wasn't It wasn't like we weren't like, oh, let's burn some sage.
Yeah, it was also the 90s where we didn't have a car, so it was harder to get sage.
That's true.
So we had to use just the rosaries we had on hand.
You couldn't quite DoorDash some rosaries.
No DoorDash.
Exactly. Yeah, that didn't.
There's none of the metaphysical shops had anything. We had to get on the bus to go to the local New Age store.
Yeah, too inconvenient.
Too inconvenient. Well, we did it though because it was the 90s, and you were 90s witches were determined.
Well, and we had some crazy experiences in the metaphysical store too. So
yeah, that's another thing.
The whole other story.
This other story, my grandmother lived in South Carolina, which is a state that is haunted as fuck. People talk about Louisiana being haunted. South Carolina is haunted, y'all. So we were, I was staying in, I was staying in the guest room, and I kept waking up in the middle of the night because I would hear these voices call my name. And these really horrible voices. And I would start to go to sleep and they would wake me up again. And it was happening all night long, several nights in a row. And I just tried to say, well, it's a bad dream. It's a whatever. And then my cousin came over, cousin Mandy. Y'all have heard about cousin Mandy. And she said something. I don't know how it came up, but I said, yeah, I'm staying in such and such bedroom. And she goes, oh, I don't stay in that room. And I'm like, why? She goes, because that room wakes you up. You hear your name called all night. Like, I didn't tell her this. I didn't hint at any of this. I just said, yeah, I'm staying in there. Oh, I see one of our Patreon members in South Carolina is laughing. And I said, okay. And then later that day, as I was going to bed, I said, hey, Gran, I think I'm just going to sleep downstairs tonight. And she didn't look up from her program. She's in her nightgown, her slippers. She's watching her show. And she doesn't even look up. She just says, them ghosts and spirits been a-talking to you? And I said, what? And I said, Gran, do you know anything about this? She goes, oh, no, honey, I was just kidding. If I heard something like that, I'd run out the house. So I know what I did. I was a little bit older. What would you have done, Jonathan, besides run out the house and sleep in the yard?
Disowned my grandma for not telling me, because clearly homegirl knew some shit was up.
She knew.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You don't say that casually.
There was insider knowledge.
Yeah,
but she is Southern Baptist. To speak of it like that is to give it power.
Right. Yeah. Again, back to religion, Christianity, and all that. It's like it's one of those things. Fuck. I think, and I've done this a few times, cursing in Spanish, because nothing beats crazy like Hispanic crazy.
Well, Slavic crazy is a little crazy too. Also,
Slavic crazy.
True.
Listen, Slavs are just the Mexicans of Europe. Okay, like
I like it.
It is what it is. Y'all party, y'all drink, y'all have big families.
Yeah.
Y'all hate each other and love each other. You're just us and white. Okay. You're us after the printer ran out of ink. So it's fun.
More paprika, less peppers.
Printer ran out of ink. Jonathan?
I was so upset when I found out what paprika is. It's just dried, crushed red bell peppers. Paprika, like, my whole life, I thought it was this exotic fucking spice. And then I found that shit out. I'm like, you motherfuckers had me thinking
that it was exotic and some basic shit.
Yeah, these white folks making meals like, I added salt, pepper, and paprika. And I'm like, okay, you're good in there. And then I find out there's fuck you guys. Yeah. So I probably would have strapped Granny down and burned that bitch down too while I was at it.
I was just like,
that's fucked up for her not to have said anything. Like, say it so casually and be like, I'm just kidding. No, you're not, bitch. But
that's a Southern Baptist thing, though, is that they would not come out and warn you like whale, because if they said it, then they're giving power to the devil. They have to say it like they don't mean it. And they don't look at you while they say it either. They just kind of, again, we've got our friend from South Carolina down here who's losing her shit because she knows it's true.
Passive aggressive.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Well, what I did is I went in the next time I had to sleep there, and I said outright, they tried to wake me up, and I woke up and I said, listen, motherfuckers, I am alive and I have blood kin to this house. You have no business scaring me in my grandmother's house, so go fuck yourselves. And they're like, ooh. But I actually learned something.
You evicted them?
I evicted them. Yeah. I evicted them. I think it's interesting. I think they followed the bed though, because after my grandmother moved out of her house, that bed ended up at my aunt's house.
And you slept in that bed?
No, I didn't sleep in the bed again.
Okay,
no,
good.
fuck no. But my cousin said that she did.
I wouldn't put it past her, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I assumed you did.
When I'm really tired and need to escape my family, any bed, haunted or not, looks pretty inviting. But no, my cousin was off. She said that it was still happening a little bit. But what I learned actually from Diana Rachel in her book Hex Twisting was that when that happens, people have said it was like, some people think it's goblins or the spirit of a goblin. And so what you do is you throw out a confusing riddle, and it confuses them so much they stop bothering you. So if you say something like, the price of rice in China is the color blue, that they're like, huh? And they spend all night trying to figure that out.
That's not a riddle. You had a fucking stroke.
And then the goblins are so worried. They're like, can we haunt somebody with a stroke? Can we?
To be fair, when I owned a home that was haunted by the previous owner, I made Courtney sleep in the room that she was haunting.
She didn't tell me.
You're a bad friend.
She didn't tell me because she's a bad friend.
That's like, I'm actually really surprised you're still friends after that, to be honest.
Oh, that was not the worst thing she's ever done. It's fine.
That's definitely not the worst thing.
It's not the worst.
Oh, I don't even
That's
remember.
definitely not the worst.
So many things. So
We've known each other since she was 12. There's a list. I mean, there's
history there. Got it.
oh God, there's so much. So anyway, here we're going to open this up to our Patreon guests and see if they have paranormal stories they want to share. Again, friends, if you unmute yourself, your voice will be on the episode. So if you don't want your voice in the episode and you want to put your story in the chat, we can read it out loud.
Wait, can I start though? Because I have a really interesting one and I want to hear your take on it.
Yeah, that's fine. Guests, if you want to share a story, just raise your hand and we'll get to you when Hillary's done with her story.
Okay, so my friend, one of my really close friends growing up, her aunt and uncle owned a property and a house that used to be like an old Girl Scouts lodge, and it had this like they had converted what was like a kind of garage, like a detached garage into like a 1-bedroom that she was renting, and I don't know, the energy there was always weird. And I was like, why is this place is weird? But, it's like my best friend and, we're like teenagers and it's like, whatever, taking risks. So I'm out there and crazy shit would happen. And we would, these are these scenarios where you'd be like, no, there's no way that this is real. So like, at first it would be like, I thought we blew all the candles out. How come there are candles lit when we come back outside? Right. Like someone would get up to go to the bathroom. There's candles lit and we'd be like, okay, well, we're kind of stoners. Maybe we just like forgot to blow out the candle. Like you're kind of trying to rationalize this stuff. Right. But then we're like noticing it again and again. And we're going, wait, this is like, there's no way we're this stupid. Like we knew, like happening once or twice, sure. But like, this is like happening every night. And we're like, okay, so now we're like going around and we're both like, okay, you blew out all the candles. You blew out all the candles. You do it. There's no candles. Or like the microwave would come on in the middle of the night. And we'd be like, what?
Gremlins.
And then it was like, okay, maybe it's like, a electrical thing. But then we unplugged the microwave and the microwave would come on in the middle of the night. And then, and then there's one day when I'm in there and of course, like I keep coming back to stay here. Like this shit is happening and we're still in there.
So now it's your fault. It's your problem.
Yeah, it's my fault. And I was obviously raised wrong. And so like, we're in there and like, I'm like hearing, when people are like doing chores or something, they're kind of humming to themselves. I was like, oh, that's sweet. Does your aunt always like hum or sing when she's gardening? She's like, you hear that? They're out of town. And I was like, well, is there like a gardener? Is it like, do they have someone coming to like what? And she's like, nope. And this is like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's like nothing around. Right. And I'm like, what? And then she painted this like, so she's a painter and I don't know why she would do this, but like in the creepiest area of the house, she paints this like spiral portal looking thing on a door. Why would you do that in a haunted house? I don't know, but she did because she was also raised wrong. And so
punishment,
she's also a white woman. And so anyway, like I come in one day and I'm like, oh, that's cool. You added like the silhouette of a woman into the door. And she was like, what are you talking about? And she looks and she was like, I didn't do that. And it literally looks like there's like you've dragged the outline in wet paint, like when it was still wet. And then we continued to come back to the house because
fuck's sake.
And then because
Jonathan's
we're also
checking
like,
out.
We also
There's no hope for that.
It was
He's
like
walking away.
It was like we either go to her place or my parents' place, which I don't know was any less haunted. And so like then it keeps happening. Then there's a man and a child, and like these images like all this crazy shit happened. Right? What should we have done?
I don't know why you waited for the woman shadow person to have a full fucking family in the paint before deciding that this was a bad idea. You waited for her to get multi-generational before deciding this is fucking weird. So get an Airbnb for fuck's sake. Jesus. Like
just don't.
Yeah, pour a little bit of Florida water and some paint and paint over everything.
Well, we eventually, so like when it escalated, which it did, and like there was some movement in these images. We freaked out, we screamed, we left the house.
Oh, then you freaked out.
Then we freaked out.
Right.
We
then
screamed,
it was
we
a
ran
little
out.
upsetting.
I'm watching
we ran
Jonathan's
out.
face. He's got a Judge Judy look on his face. Like, do you
When
not
it
see
happened,
what the
and it
problem
happened
is?
there was like a thing that happened kind of suddenly. She jumped into my arms, Peter pants. We ran out the door, hopped in a car with pee pants, and like drove to the nearest town, which was called, no joke, Top O Hill. TOP-O.-HILL. That was the name of the town. and sat in a diner that was like full of like deer heads, because like with who killed the deer. Like we're sitting in there. It's like fucking Deliverance in this. I'm like, great. So we've gone from like paranormal threats to like you got to literal threats. Yeah. And so like we're sitting in there and going, and I'm like, it's like 1, 2, 3. You're going to tell me what you saw, because it's like, did we just like, you're thinking like maybe we just spooked ourselves out. We saw the exact same thing. And then we had to go back. We like mixed some herbs into some paint, some oils into some paint. We painted over the door.
We went back, Jonathan. Did you hear that part? They went back.
Can't fucking cheat. Like, listen, when you're like 22 years old, or I guess we were probably like 19 and 20 at that point, like you don't like, where are we gonna like that rent was like $200 a month because it was her aunt. Like, where are we gonna go? Like, we're broke teenagers, so we're like, we're gonna have to figure this out.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Find a way to figure this out.
There's some compromise that you can make at that point. If it's 200, yeah. Because
I'm saying, right? Like literally, you're getting like the hookup from your family on your own place when you're 19, so like we can actually go do stuff rather than like live with our parents. Like, I mean, you're going to figure out how to deal with a ghost, I think.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
But I think we waited a little long to deal with it, too. I was like, what's... I'm like, do you think that's weird? And people are like, what do you mean you think it's weird? It is weird. Yes.
Painting the portal, I think, was probably 6 steps too far. But, it's okay. You learned. To each their own. So one of our squad members and also one of our favorite guests, Monica Devane, is here, and she has a story she wanted to share. So Monica, if you want to come off mute and tell Jonathan all about your story, the one you shared in the squad last week.
First of all, I just want to say hi to Jonathan. As a bruja, I'm like a huge fan.
Hi.
I laugh so hard watching your videos because it's like that little bit of truth of like, yeah, Latinos would not do that. And then also like the crazy like culture stuff that we do that's like it's so prevalent, like just so many different things that it doesn't really matter what country you come from. We kind of like all do the same thing. So I love your videos. And I just wanted to say this is like an honor to get to like chat with you in person.
Oh, I appreciate it.
But it's funny because I think was it last week? It was on the full moon or the day after the full moon this happened. So basically, it's funny, I'm in the same space where this happened. So I'm moving to, listen, before you judge. Mira, I know my shit, okay? But we are moving homes, okay? Yeah. So our friend is letting us like rent rooms in her home. And so we've been like, painting and redoing rooms and all this other stuff, right? And so it just so happened to be the full moon where I was like, oh yeah, let me come over. We'll do like ritual stuff. Like, I always burn copal because that's what we do in my culture, right? So I was like, I'm going to be burning copal, especially when we're painting, burning it everywhere. And it was like for 2 days in a row. So we were there like Friday and Saturday. And the Saturdays when it happened, at first, because we have between our families, we have 5 little kids. I saw, like the little kid carts that like are motorized. I saw it move like out of sight to like in front of the doors, and I'm like, did a kid like escape us? Like, what the hell? And at first, like instinct kicks in as a parent, like our kid just like left us,
right?
And is playing in the backyard. But then I don't see the kid, and I'm like, okay, like I started screaming out names, like, where are you right now? And then I'm like,
doing a roll call.
Doing a roll call. And I was just like, where's the youngest? Kai, who's like the escape artist. And everyone's like, no, he's here. And I was like, I swear, tell me right now, where are the dogs right now? And I'm thinking, because she has 2 big dogs. And I'm like, I am not playing. I just saw this cart go from the side of the house to the front, and now I don't see anyone. I need to know that no one is pranking me. And they come out and they're like, everyone is here. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. But I was like, we're burning copal. Yep. I'm not worried. Nothing's getting in this house. It's going to be fine. And then like within an hour, my friend was like, oh my God, one of my dogs are outside. It escaped. And then my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, the dogs are in the house. And I started screaming her name. I was like, Stephanie, what are you doing? The dogs are here. And she was like, I just saw this really big brown thing that literally like right in front of the porch. What do you mean the dogs are? I'm like, look, the dogs are here. And then I looked at her and she looked at me and I was like, close the door now. And immediately she comes in and we just look at each other. I was like, we're going to keep the door closed and I'm going to go burn more copal because at that point we had stopped. Like, I'm going to burn more copal. But I was just mentioning to her because I was like, look, we live near Casadega, which is very famously on a ley line. And I was like, it's coming to that scene, like the veil is thinning out and everything. Stuff like this is going to happen. As a bruja, I've seen a lot of stuff with spirits, but I was like, there's something that's playing around outside right now, and we need to keep the kids inside, and we need to make sure that it's not going to be there. And I was like, and don't worry, we're going to have to like redo all the protection stuff. So it's like, I got to do the witch's jar for the house once we move in. I was like, we need to resalt everything.
Yep.
I was like, I'm not playing. I don't play those games. And my kids know, because they're like, Mommy, we never, have any problems with el cocuy or anything like that. I was like, because Mommy makes sure the monsters don't get in.
That's right.
That's why. I was
You're
like,
welcome.
Mommy,
You're welcome,
Don't you
children.
fucking forget it either.
I was like, you don't ever have to worry about that in our home. But I was like, in other people's homes where there's no protection, that is something we have to. And I told them also, it was like, we don't invite things in. You never have a welcome mat in the front door. All these kinds of things. I was like,
it's little things.
Oh, smart.
It's the little things.
Smart.
Oh my God. Yeah. One of my friends said she was having trouble with spirits. And then I was like, for some reason, it just popped into my mind. I'm like, do you have a welcome mat? And she looked at me and she's like, maybe. And I was like, go get rid of it right now. I was like, you literally just let it walk through the front door.
Sharpie, not over the welcome until you can get to Walmart
No
and buy one with
vacancies
nothing.
on the
No
side of the house
vacancy.
while you're at it.
Go away.
You just like spray paint the thing a different color. Yeah, it's like
She's
like spray
Latina,
paint
but
over the words.
she took me for my word. She's like, I'm gonna do it right now. I watched her do it over a video, and then I came over and I helped her cleanse the house and everything. And I was like, this is your like starter kit, and this is what you do, and you do this like once a month, so you won't have any more problems.
You need to put those starter kits on your Etsy store.
I probably should.
Do it. I mean, one of my friends, she's a bruja as well, and she sent me a kit for my office because she's like, with all the spooky shit you watch, you should probably do some warding. And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. Actually, I probably should. So yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, actually, well, another funny story that I have is I went to help a friend to get a spirit out of her home, but she lived in like an apartment building, so it was like one floor above her, and I was like, oh, no worries, I'm gonna get it out. That's okay. And I was like, but you have to understand, when you're doing a limpia, you need to like open everything up. And I was like, and also your place needs to be clean. It's not just about like cleansing the space. It's about literally physically cleaning your home. And we got to get all 4 elements in. So I was like, you need to open up all the windows. You got to open up all the doors, every cabinet, everything. And sure enough, we got the spirit out. And the spirit went to the second floor.
That's fucking funny.
Spirit upstairs. I was like, well, we didn't cleanse upstairs, so I'm sorry.
That's so good. Just like a petulant,
like, you fucking idiots.
Yeah,
like,
just like a petulant child, like being
bedroom.
like, "Fine, I'm going upstairs."
Yeah,
like,
so now the spirit's
meant.
like in your actual bedroom, so it's even worse. Like
that's amazing. Funny.
I think actually, what I sensed was that like someone had died in that place. I mean, this was in New York, actually. So a lot of people die in a lot of apartment buildings, it happens. And so that's what I felt. I was like, the spirit is tied to the place itself. No. But I was like, in fairness, I didn't cleanse upstairs and I didn't put anything for upstairs. So it was just like, fine, I'm just going to move up and bother someone else.
It reminds me of Beetlejuice. They just kept going up higher and higher to where they felt comfortable.
Yeah.
So
I like this. So Monica's advice to everyone is do not get a welcome mat. Get one of those mats that says, please leave. That's the best thing to put in front of your house is a mat that says, please leave.
It's even like I told my friend, like she wanted to repaint her door. And I was like, you need to be careful what color you paint your door. So I was like, you're inviting in that energy. So I was like, these are the protective colors. Or I was like, if you want, you could put, she actually ended up painting her door yellow. So I was like, it brings in solar energy, it brings in happiness and everything. But I was like, you got to be careful also what colors you paint your doors. Like I have protective charms like all over my place again, which I will be bringing once I move. But I was like, one thing I have always done within my practice is put protection up everywhere. Because in my opinion, there's never enough protection, and it's something that you have to like constantly redo. Don't think that just because you do like one thing, that's it. It's set up for like, no, it's going to be taking hit after hit after hit. And you got to make sure that you keep up on your protection.
Monica
They're
is
here
such
for
a
us.
better
Wear
example than I
protection.
am.
That's Monica's takeaway.
I've just had a
Wear
lot of
protection.
experience with spirits.
Monica is such a better
Yeah.
example than I am. I just assume that I'm meaner than anything that's going to try and come into my house. That's
But Kanani, you're not wrong.
That's actually like that's not inaccurate though.
Yeah. We have another one of our members has put something in the chat and want us to read it out loud. And I think we have two more stories. We have this one, and then we have Corey's.
I actually have to go because we're about to. So I'm going to hop off a little early because I have to go crawl around abandoned war battery tunnels. It's because, that's why. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just couldn't. I held it together for this
for an hour.
Couldn't take it anymore.
Your white fragility, you couldn't handle any more slams against white people addressing ghosts.
Now that we've made sure that we're
it was the Mar-a-Lago
the
reference.
stupid shit that white women do, I'm going to go into an abandoned war battery and climb around
and do
tunnels.
yoga and meditate with your crystals in the
I'm going to do some yoga in there. So
if I never hear from you again, I will assume it's because of your own folly and your hubris.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I'm excited to let our listeners share their stories, and it's super nice to have you on. This has been great.
I appreciate it, Hillary. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, me. Okay, so a story from our Patreon member. When I was in junior high, I was staying the night at my best friend's house. They always start this way. Why is that? Her mom was out of town, so it was just the two of us. Okay, it's getting worse. We were just chilling, watching Adult Swim and eating all the garbage we shouldn't be. Sounds like a good time. When we heard a loud knock. She lived out in the country, so there was very little to no chance there was someone messing with us. We heard the knocking a few times and went to look in the backyard. So this was at the back door. And of course, we see nothing. After a bit, we calm our shit and go to bed and wake up to her mother screaming bloody murder. She got back from her trip early that morning. Oh, this is really sad. Got back from her trip early that morning and found a plastic bag with a mutilated rabbit on the porch. Not sure if it was supernatural, but glad as fuck we didn't go outside to investigate. That's just horrible.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry you dealt with that. I mean, fuck. I mean, I think, first of all, that would...
You have two new things to have nightmares about. Now I'm afraid to drive across the train track, and now I'm going to be afraid of fucking rabbits inside bags.
Yeah, it's so clearly somebody was trying to scare them. I mean, but I think that this would certainly, I doubt it was a supernatural event. It sounds like it was a horrible person, but I think it would absolutely warrant doing some magic to cleanse the space and get that, oh, don't be sorry. Well, Margaret, we're sorry for you. You don't have to be sorry for us. We're sorry this happened to you. But you would absolutely want to do some cleansing on the space and healing, because that's a traumatic thing to not happen, not just for you all, but for the land that you're on as well.
That is very scary.
Now Jonathan's really like, why did I do this show?
Now, there's a little fucked up part of me that's like, did they let it go to waste?
Well, I mean, if you're going to eat it, give me rabbit, yes.
You put enough salt on something to cleanse it, you can eat it. I think.
And paprika, right?
Fucking paprika, I swear to God. That was the biggest lie of my life when I found that out.
I don't know. I think we should get Monica's input here too as to what could have been done in that space afterward. She's reaching for the mute. She's like, I got this. Don't worry. We got it.
Still muted, Monica.
You're still muted.
Well, don't make it eat this. Don't yell at me. Fuck. I believe in you.
Let me see if I can get her unmuted.
Champion.
Okay, for some reason, my phone froze and I couldn't take
it was the ghosts.
Off, so.
It was the ghosts.
Okay, so to be honest, if someone did that from experience, that seems like a sacrifice.
Or crazy ex.
Crazy acts, yes, but also a sacrifice, especially if it's put on your was it the front door or the back door? But
I think it was the back door, which is really creepy.
Door.
Yeah,
it's the fact
that's
that it's
personal. That's
it's
personal.
The fact, yeah, it's personal, and the fact that it's by the door. For me, I was just immediately, I'm like, that's a sacrifice. That's not something I would I would touch with gloves, and I would cleanse everything because. I wouldn't know what that person was trying to invoke or do in that crazy state of mind, but that's pretty serious to me. That's terrifying and that's serious to me. I would absolutely be cleansing everything. I would be running around the land and talking to the land spirits and be like, I need help. to make sure that my property is safe and that this doesn't happen again. Talking to my ancestors and everything. That's serious to me.
Yeah, that's why I think it's this wasn't your property, of course, friend, so you couldn't do it. But I think that's one of the reasons why we as witches, you want to form a relationship with the spirits of the land that you're on, because they can also, because over the years I've built this relationship. They always tell me when the dog's going to escape the yard. Every single time they warn me.
Narcs.
The narcs. They're like, listen, that asshole's getting out again, and the dog is like, "Would you say something?" So having that, and I would honestly probably do some kind of respectful rite for the rabbit, besides just eating it or feeding it to Jonathan. Actually, like,
it's not a lot of things I won't eat.
Well, I mean, you don't want to waste it, but I think it's also for your peace of mind and for the land, because it was done in such a violent way, which I have no problem with hunting, but I do have a problem with killing animals.
Trophy hunting for
fun. Like, if you're gonna hunt it, if you're gonna kill it, you need to eat it.
Absolutely.
So
that's why every spider that I step on.
That's you got spider stew. That's like, look at Corey. He's like, yeah, I'm good. So yeah, tasty sex. Well, I mean, friend, I think we're just our sympathies are with you that you experienced that, especially as a kid. I think that's scary as fuck, but
it's crazy traumatic.
Yeah. So I wonder. I mean, now there may be some work you might want to do on yourself to do some healing with that.
People are infinitely more terrifying. I will say this till the day I die. People are infinitely more terrifying than the spirit world.
That's what the demon said in Good Omens, that humans could come up with things that were far more horrifying than the devil ever could. Like paprika. Like, all right, we got one more story from Corey, our editor. And also Monica said, safety note, this is why you don't answer knocks at night unless you know someone is coming. Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
100%.
Don't. Even if somebody's outside screaming for help, call and get some back.
What the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah. Like,
my problem. Bitch, you got yourself in that mess. Get yourself out.
Oh, God. All right. So Corey, this is our amazing editor, keeps us in line and makes our sound good. And he is here to share a story himself.
Ooh.
Exactly. Well, Jonathan, first of all, Buenos tardes. Thank you for joining the show. It's good to have you here as a lifelong Texan and surrounded in my youth by Hispanics. It makes me feel at home when I watch your videos, so it's really nice to have.
Appreciate
when
that.
I was a kid, went out to my aunt's house in Seattle, and she is a clairvoyant, a medium, a psychic. So we've had the spooky in my family for generations. But I was sleeping in my cousin's room on the floor in a little sleeping bag. I woke up about halfway through the night and was moved in halfway into the closet and halfway out of the closet, still in the sleeping bag, but just laying in the closet. And I looked over to a wall and I saw two beings just standing there watching. One was tall, one was kind of about middle height. And I freaked out, crawled back into the sleeping bag, pulled over my head, and actually was able to fall asleep. I think I was like 7. I woke up the next morning, looked on the wall where I saw the light behind them. There was no electrical sockets, no lights, no nothing that could have been. And I went out and I was just kind of thinking to myself, my aunt noticed I was preoccupied. She said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, last night I woke up and I was like half in Julian's closet and I saw these two people over to the side watching us." And she's like, "It was one tall, it was one short." She gave like a full description. I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Those are the Fae that have been watching over Julian since he was born. And they're always in the house. They're always doing stuff. I don't think they were mischievous. They were just checking you out because they didn't know who you were." And so I was there for another 2 nights, barely slept a wink for the other 2 nights, just constantly waiting for them to show up again. But that was one of the many experiences that I've had with my Aunt Boo, as we call her.
Oh, they unwrapped you like a burrito. Like, what's in here?
Exactly.
That's why I hate sleeping bags. I truly, the concept of being in a sleeping bag in the woods makes me feel like I'm just a burrito for bears, and I'm not comfortable with that idea at all.
You are a burrito for bears. Like, that's the point.
Yeah, I'm just a little hot pocket for them.
Yeah.
Keeping it warm.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say the fact that you were half in a closet means that there was some mischievous happening. This was not just walking. This was not just watching.
I tend to agree with you, yes. But, yeah.
I think it was like, hey, what's that thing? I don't know, but let's fuck with it first.
A tiny room. This was not just peaceful serenity looking over.
No, and they came to be known for some of their mischievous stuff. So I'm sure there was some some fun in it, but I was not having any of it.
Yeah, no. The Fae is an interesting realm. I hate giving people my name, actually, for that reason. I hate being the first one to introduce myself. Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you didn't get,
whatever,
dude. Yeah, Peter Pan, really.
Sucked into the Fae world.
Yeah. You got
so I have to ask, Jonathan, is there one thing that you've been sent that still to this day, like, you think about that it got in your brain so much that you just, it still gets to you or still freaks you out?
There's one story, and I can't recant it. I can't recall it verbatim. But it honestly shook me to my core, and I hate it. It was a story, and again, I don't know if this was a story that was like just somebody making a story for the sake of having a spooky story. I don't know if it was a true story. I don't know. It was written as if it were a true recounting of a story, and it was a story of the goat man, and I fucking hate it to this day because it's just so terrifying, and it was so well written. And then of course my dumbass is like, what's the goat man? That didn't fucking help me. So that's probably one of the things that's shaking my core. And long story short, it was a story of a group of friends going out camping. And then this person, the narrator writing the story, realizing that there was an extra person in the group that they hadn't noticed up until that point. Other friends were like getting pulled out of the group, and like, oh, we just heard you calling me from like deeper in the woods. I was like, dude, I've been here the whole time. Like little shit like that. And just it was a perfect storytelling. It was short enough for me to believe that it was real, but long enough to give detail that just made me so uncomfortable. So if I ever find that story again, I'll probably read it and post it online. That's one of those things, like most stories that are retellings and that are like copy pasted stories you can find, right? I can usually find them pretty easily on Reddit or on creepy story websites. This one has eluded me for damn near a decade now, and I cannot find it again. And it's that's
which
if I ever find
credence to the fact that maybe it was a true. I hear you. Yeah. I get what you're putting down.
So that's one of those. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like going into the woods. I don't like going in big groups, especially. And if I ever do go into the woods, this is something that my uncle always taught me was announce your intention. Always thank the wood for allowing you to be there. Announce how long you're going to be there for, and don't you fucking dare stay any longer than that. And always clean up after yourself. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh yeah. That makes sense. It makes sense. And I've heard there was another TikTok account that I saw of a woman who was similar thing, Jonathan, in that it was short enough to believe it and just long enough to have detail, and that she went camping in the Appalachian regions, always Appalachian, and that she came across a mimic, and that it was like she heard someone trying to mimic her husband deep in the woods, but her husband was in front of her, and of course the dog was trying to get back in the car. Like the dog wanted nothing to do with the camping.
Always believe your dog. Trust that instinct.
Trust the dog. Trust the dog. The dog's not into it. And they packed up and they went. They didn't even pitch a tent. They were like, you know what, we're gonna go.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Can you remind people where they can find you, and also let us know what else you have coming up in addition to more badass content?
Absolutely. Hola, buenas tardes. Jonathan Perez again. Latinos Against Spooky Shit on all my platforms, except Twitter. Against Spooky on Twitter because it's too long and it didn't fit, and I didn't think about marketing capabilities when I branded. So but you can find me on all my platforms. Join my Discord. That's where I post all up-to-date stuff on what's happening. But I've got a couple different projects coming out, actually. Tabletop games that are being released weekly. I've got more podcasts and more episodes and more wonderful people that I'm engaging with in the community. So yeah, best way to check it all out. Follow my Discord, join up, and you can check out my schedule there.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. Fangirling episode because I just love your stuff, and I was so happy you agreed to come and join us. And you stayed the whole time, which after our intro, I wasn't sure that was going to happen.
Of course I will.
Because of hashtag Kanani. You know, it's always her.
Yeah,
Very brave man.
You're paying me ridiculous amounts of money to be here. So
We are.
That's
I mean, multiply 0 by 0, and you know, it just keeps
a lot of
going on
zeros.
forever. So many. So many. All right. Well, thank you all so much. And if you guys had fun and you want to join us for future interviews, please consider joining our Patreon community. We get together monthly with wonderful people and talk about all kinds of great witchy and magical shit. And the rest of y'all have a really happy Halloween.
She did it again. That's why I don't take her places, Jonathan.
What a way
it
to
again. Okay. Bye, everybody. See you next week. Thank you for listening to That Witch Life podcast. Our music is by Dustin Schultz, editing by Corey Drake. If you like what we do, please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the show, you can buy us a coffee or check out our merch on our Etsy store or join us on Patreon for bonus content, ad-free episodes, or to join our Witch Squad. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For show notes, audio transcript, or to ask us a question to answer on a future episode, go to thatwitchlife.com. Until then, keep moding that shit. We will talk to you next week.
So mote it be.